पण तिसरं घेवपाचो मनीस पार्टीच ना जाल्यार कितें करतलो ताका लोकशाहीच्या दृश्टिकोनांतल्यान दिस इज व्हेरी इट इज नॉट व्हेरी गुड सायन बिकॉज बीजेपी ऑल अलोन वचपय बरोबर दिसना आमकां खंय तरी ब्रेक स्पीड ब्रेकर आसपाक जाय म्हणून वी दिस इज माय पर्सनल दिस इज नॉट माय पार्टी बट आय ऑलवेज से दॅट यू हॅव टू हॅव खंयचेय एक विधेयक मांडले जर जाय ताका ऑपोजिशन ताजेर डिबेट हे ते आसपाक जाय सजेशन्स आसपाक जाय इफ यू जस्ट लेट इट गो देन इट इज नॉट अ स्मूथ डेमोक्रेसी
हो जो स्पीड ब्रेकर आहा तो स्पीड ब्रेकराक तुम्ही कशें रँकिंग करतले इन 2017 हाउ आर यू फोर्सिंग द स्पीड ब्रेकर एमजीपी इज गोइंग टू बी द फर्स्ट स्पीड ब्रेकर कांग्रेस इज गोइंग टू बी द फर्स्ट स्पीड ब्रेकर और अ थर्ड फोर्स इज गोइंग टू बी द थर्ड स्पीड ब्रेकर Third force is the first speed breaker.
Yeah, 100%. Because
second,
the third force will come in with a moral high ground. The third force,
and as an anti-establishment.
Absolutely. The third force will come in as a challenge morally. So that I think so will connect with the Goan voter.
But one point, in that third force, it depends on who the players are.
Absolutely. Correct. Then you lose more. If you are playing with wrong players, then you are bound to lose the game.
Pramod Bab, I will tell you, when you are looking at the course of future, you should also look at the hints in history.
Correct.
Which you go through. And to a large extent, तुझे जे प्रश्न आसा तांचे उत्तरांचे पॉइंटर तुका दिश्टी पडटा इतिहासान आसा गोंयच्या राजकारणाचे when you talk of a regional thing or if a new thing it is a very difficult thing to crystallize but I don't want to talk on that that's player asta ya asta खूप महत्वाच्या गोष्टी असतात I'll talk about
you are saying you are going to be the primary speed breaker
ना तुका सांगता हांव you take it from me very affirmatively 2017 Congress will rise to the occasion Congress has to meet the challenge which is now posed before it. It has to meet its challenge. It has begun to meet the challenge. Election has suddenly come in Panajim. Nobody expected that Manohar Parrikar.
You were not prepared.
I don't want to put it that way, but I could have said in 2017 we will be strong to face an election. This election nobody expected up to the day Mr. Parrikar resigned. Nobody knew that this election is going to come. Suddenly it came. What happens? He was an incumbent MLA. He had got a strength here, organizationally and so many other things. 20 वर्सांक जेन्ना तुजे फाटल्यान आमदारकी आसता एका कॉन्स्टिट्युएन्सींतल्यान यू आर बेटर पोस्ट टू फेस एन इलेक्शन देन अदरवायज आतां कितें जालां 2017 वी नो दॅट देर विल बी एन इलेक्शन 2017 वी नो वॉट आर द इश्यूज दॅट आर देर बिकॉज दोज इश्यूज आर ओनली माउंटिंग दे आर नॉट बीइंग क्लियर्ड दे आर माउंटिंग See, we should only try to create an organizational structure which we have begun doing.
Anand Bab, तुमको ये पट्टा यतीश बाबाचे काय or you feel that Congress is not going to be the primary speed breaker for BJP and it is going to be somebody else and who will be that somebody?
If a person like me could press the button for the Congress this time after who knows how many years, obviously people are hoping that Congress will do well. But I don't see it happening. To be very frank with you, I don't see it happening because I already talk about giving tickets to the people who have lost, people who have been rejected by the electorate. There has to be a revolution in the Congress, a complete revolution, which I think even a friend like Mr. Subhash will agree with me. He himself said that there has to be a speed breaker. Even the BJP would appreciate that. But if considering what I am saying, I feel that Harsh and myself have also been talking about it, that a new force will come from what I would call a first front. I would not call it a third front. I would say a first front which has got the moral high ground of Goa. That is the only hope for Goa.
And that will be the primary speed breaker.
People are fed up. But again, players, like Kabir said, the players are
from MGP. You have no hope from
MGP will definitely
will be a force, but not a primary one. Yes, not a primary one. Kabir, how are you analyzing it? Is MGP a third force or first force?
I still feel that the Congress will
rise to the occasion.
They will rise to the. I think with under Louisian Fadil, they're going in the right path. But yes, MGP will play an important role. And also, like you said, the first front, or you call it the third front, whatever, will play a decisive role. Yes. But again, I mean, you can't be like, they cannot take guys who have lost in the last election, who come, I mean, ditch the party on the eve of the elections, do this, they, stay in power 5 years, then go out, then take up issues, you know how it is, and then come in. So
Pramod Bab, I would only like to add one. Tane Mulle, he made 2 points. Number one, that Congress has to come with a revolutionary thing. which partially I agree, because new ideas have to be injected.
Correct.
New things have to be spoken. People's aspirations have changed. People's idea of politics has changed. Young generation's idea of politics has changed. Conventionalism is losing root. A new breed of innovative politicking is coming up. So many things are there. Congress has to rise to that. But तो म्हणता पळय आपल्याक तें दिसना, आपल्याक तें जाणवना, आपल्याक I don't think that will happen. I think we should not be judgmental like this.
No,
because
yes, what I would say,
it
I
is
would
not
say-
that, no, Pramod Bab, let me just complete.
Yeah.
It is not that Congress does not understand the reality. Congress is with the pulse of the people. It understands reality, and the reality is that we have to be innovative and we have to meet the aspirations of people. Now we have begun doing that. So don't be judgmental and say, no, जावूंक शकना, आसूंक शकना.
इथे झालं अशें जशें म्हाका संजय बाबू
I voted for Congress, by the way.
No, I
I voted for Congress. And despite that, I'm saying.
Yeah, no, and that's a fair concern. No, what I was saying is म्हाका संजय बाबू एग्री जातले म्हजे कडेन अजून पर्यंत लोकांक काँग्रेसी कडच्यान एक्शन दिसना. There are only words. There is no action. जो पर्यंत एक्शन दिसना तोपर्यंत कॉन्फिडन्स बिल्डिंग जावची ना.
तुझे करेक्ट आसा, पण हांव पयलींचें उलयना, हांव ऑक्टोबराच्यान उलयतां.
सजावन म्हणटा तूं उलयता तें खरें जावचें अशें हांगा प्रत्येकाक दिसता धरून सुभाष बाब अशी परिस्थिती आसा धरून ते सगळ्यांक दिसता की तूं उलयता
तुमच्या अपेक्षांच्या इतले वजे आसा ताच्या सकयल तुमी
अपेक्षांचे पळय संजय बाब आय टेल यू, आतां केजरीवाल आयलो दिल्लीक, ताजेर अपेक्षांचें वजें कितलें आसा. आतां सिद्धार्थ आयलो गोंयांत पणजे, ऑल द बेस्ट टू हिम. ताजेर अपेक्षांचें वजें कितलें आसा. सी, अपेक्षा वजें सदां आसता, बट हाऊ यू डिस्चार्ज इट, that is what matters.
That you have to show now.
That is what matters. Therefore I am saying, as Congress, people are expecting Congress to rise to a particular level.
Yes.
Congress has to do it. They have begun doing it. You are just 4 months down the line since October. I am looking at October deadline, the October time. You are just 4 years, 4 months. Don't be judgmental and say, Zaina, Zauchena. See, a good start is half done. We have begun. Give time.
Okay.
2017, we will be a force.
We'll sit in the same studio and we'll discuss.
With crystallized approach, crystallized ideas, crystallized viewpoints, and the trust deficit, if at all is exists,
I promise
will be
to
matched.
you, 1 year down the line, not in 2017, we will sit in the same studio with the same panel and we'll discuss the same thing.
I assure you, I will come.
You'll
काय पळय त्या डिबेटीक
same panel म्हणटा, same panel.
अशें ना, काँग्रेस पार्टी म्हणून जे उलोवया की यतीश न्ही, यतीश जस्ट एक रिप्रेझेंटेटिव्ह म्हणून आयला पार्टीचो. लोक जे उलयता न्ही, हांव उलयता किंवा आर्मांड उलयता किंवा बाकीचे उलयता, ते फाटले जे कितें पळोवन आज पर्यंत आयिल्ले आसा न्ही, ताचेर बेस्ड ऑन दॅट उलयल्ले आसता. तुम्ही जर खरेंच रिऑर्गनायज जाता न्ही, जावन दाखोवचे पडटले. आणि लोक जजमेंटल आसतलेच न्ही, प्रत्येक जण आपलो जजमेंट दितलो. सो म्हजें काम आसा जें दिसलां आतां पर्यंत ताचेर हांव जजमेंट दितलो किंवा ताचेर हांव कन्क्लुजन काडटलो. सो यू शुड नॉट गेट डिजेक्टेड.
No, dejected न्ही. I'm just trying to put forward. I'm just trying to put forward.
एक गोष्ट, एक पॉइंट एक मिस जातालो ओदळ की आमी जो थर्ड फोर्स म्हणटा किंवा न्यू फोर्स म्हणटा, गोंयान म्हाका दिसना की तशी कितें हें आसा म्हणून, की रादर इफ काँग्रेस रियली गेट्स ऑर्गनायज्ड व्हेरी वेल, दॅट दे कॅन बिकम फर्स्ट फोर्स और सेकंड फोर्स और थर्ड फोर्स, विथ प्रोवायडेड नॉट दोज ओल्ड फेसीस विच पीपल आर बग्ड विथ दोज पीपल, दे हॅव डिफिटेड देम. परत ते स्टेजीचेर दिसपाक लागल्या तुमच्याच ह्या 4 महिन्याच्या काळात. तेच काही लोक परत स्टेजीचेर दिसपाक लागल्या जे जॉनाच्या हातून भायर पडिल्ले. सो तो एक फॅक्टर आसा लक्षात घेवचो पडटलो की इफ दे कम आउट विथ न्यू फेसीस विथ रियल गुड मॉरल पावर, जाल्यार तो फोर्स म्हणून जावंक शकता. आणि इन दॅट फोर्स थर्ड फोर्स किंवा केजरीवाला सारको फोर्स केन्ना तयार जाता, जेन्ना पीपल रियली गेट डिस्गस्टेड विथ द एक्झिस्टिंग सिस्टम आणि ते एंटायर सेटअप. सो ते हांचेर अवलंबून आसा. थर्ड फोर्स खरे तरेन येवप का ना येवप हो तांच्या सरकाराचेर अवलंबून आसा. फुडल्या 2 वर्सांनी ते ज्या तरेन काम करतले. शिला दीक्षिताची कारकीर्द पळय की लोक अशे म्हणजे राविल्ले तिका भायर मारपाक सारखे. आणि तेन्ना बरोबर ते अण्णा हजारेचें आंदोलन सगळें जालें आणि थंय तो थर्ड फोर्स किंवा आपाचो फोर्स ते तयार जालो. गोंयान तशी सिच्युएशन आत्तां तरी म्हाका दिसना. एक लोकांच्या भितर एक हें आसा की गव्हर्मेंट इज नॉट परफॉर्मिंग अप टू द मार्क. इश्यूज आसा, सगळे आसा, पणजे इश्यू आसा, पण इतके डिस्गस्टमेंट येवना अशी म्हाका दिसता की ती 2 वर्सांनी येत जाल्यार तो थर्ड फ्रंट जावंक शकता.
इज अ व्हेरी इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग. म्हाका एक पॉयंट लक्षात आयला उलयतना, गव्हर्मेंटाक 2.5 वर्स कंप्लीट जाली. 3 वर्सां कंप्लीट जाता. देर इज एन इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग दॅट हॅपन. ते मनोहर पर्रीकराक रिजायन जावचें पडलें, तो डिफेन्स मिनिस्टर म्हणून गेलो. नवो चीफ मिनिस्टर आयलो बिकॉज इट वॉज मनोहर पर्रीकर, नवो पणजे आमदार आयलो. सो ही जे मोनोटोनस जाता गव्हर्मेंट आफ्टर 2.5 years, तो मोनोटोनस हे गेलो
ब्रेक
आणि खंय तरी एक नवो चीफ मिनिस्टर आयलो हू हॅज हिज ओन आयडियाज, हू हॅज अ फ्रेश ब्रीज कायंड ऑफ अ थिंग. आणि नवीन आता इलेक्शन जातकीर परत तांगे कार्यकर्ते आनी कॅडरां भितर बीजेपीचे एक उत्साह जो मोदी इन्फ्लुअन्स जावपाक जाय तोही जालो. विल दॅट act in favor of BJP because people will look, again in 2017 people will not look at Parrikar's referendum but Parsekar's referendum.
See, the thing is that BJP may not lose its vote share, but it could lose seats. Because if the MGP plans to go all alone, they will lose that edge.
If there is no alliance.
Of course, yeah. And secondly, despite what Yatish has said, I feel that the Congress has not been sending clear messages.
There has to be action.
There has to be action, and there has to be a proper plan which has been spelled out to people.
I feel they are still
Congress
confused.
is being completely silent.
New blood का old
Congress,
leadership.
number one,
Especially what happened in John's time.
Yeah. Congress is not performing as a worthy opposition, and that has to begin very, very fast.
Very fast. There is no time.
No, absolutely not.
What is the सुभाष तुमको एक एडवांटेज जाता की समजा जर 5 वर्सां मनोहर पर्रीकर जर चीफ मिनिस्टर आशिल्लो, he might have succeeded, he might have failed. There would have been a certain amount of anti-incumbency when Manohar Parrikar faces polls again in 2017. In the middle of the term, you have got a new chief minister. अशी परिस्थिती भितर तुम्ही जेन्ना 2017 भितर वतले, will that anti-incumbency comparatively less because it is 2.5 वर्साचो chief minister, he has come with his own ideas, he will present his first budget. थंय तुमको फायदो जातलो सो दिसता because that 5 वर्स परफॉर्म करता की
anti incumbency येता केन्ना when you don't perform it.
तुम्ही anti incumbency डिस्कार्डच करतात.
To some extent people will not जॉबाच्या बाबतीन याच्या बाबतीन प्रत्येक मतदारसंघ आमदाराचेर वरोश आसतलो तर anybody will get that.
But that is individual way.
ना ते इंडिव्हिज्युअल असं तेच कोणाक 1000 लोकांक प्रश्न केला ते लक्षात वचना पण 2 जणांची नोकरी झाली ना तर ते लक्षात वता अँड दॅट इज अ क्रुशियल पॉइंट टू बी डिस्कस. अँटी इन्क्युमन्सी या कारणाक लागून जावपाक शकता when you don't get the personal things get done by this government and you have high expectations. To some extent we fail in that, may not fail in the development infrastructure. बाकीचे परफॉर्मन्स जे गव्हर्नमेंट म्हणून करपाक जाय पॉलिसीज कायदे विधेयका या हातून भितर आम्ही फेल जावपाक शकच ना कारण we cannot reach to the expectation of the people when it comes to the personal level. We just cannot identify our karyakartas and workers and give them a lot which they expect that for a long time we have been working and now our government is in power. When it was not in power for a few years, we have put in efforts and now we have to be paid for that. That is not going to happen to some extent. But our karyakartas are selfless and to the extent they amka cover up kartat. So we do not really have any worries about the next election because the performance that we have shown in the 3 years time and really we have to, there are some issues like regional plan and हे जर जाग्यार जाल्यार आमका problem जातले. But to take on, we don't find any opposition.
that is a very
see Pramod Baba, I'll tell you. You know, elected representative ज्यांना विटता ताका fatigue factor लागता. पूण governance is a continuing process and party in power continuous asa.
बरोबर.
So this party which is in power cannot escape the concept of anti-incumbency at the end of the 5-year term. Therefore, you cannot say that a new chief minister is coming to the settle.
की मनोहर पर्रीकराचे यू टर्न म्हणून भरपूर आरोप जाताले. जर तांणी पेट्रोलाचेर 11 रुपये देंवयले, मागीर बारीक बारीक ज्यो स्किमी आशिल्ल्यो लाडली लक्ष्मी जावं गृह आधार जावं केल्यो, बट ऑन मेजर पॉलिसी स्टेट इश्यूज मनोहर पर्रीकराचे क्रिटिसिजम जाताले की ही हॅज नॉट डेल्ट विथ देम इफेक्टिवली. नाव that face is gone, that face is out of the scene and new policies come in.
That doesn't mean much because I'll tell you why.
That wouldn't mean much.
The party in power is the same. The ministers are the same. One person at the head has changed.